Good evening. Let me go ahead and call the regular meeting of the Rio Grande City Gruya Independent School District to order. It is Tuesday, February the 7th, 2023. It is 6:31 p.m., and we're located at the Ringgold Elementary Cafeteria at Fort Ringgold, Rio Grande City. For purposes of determining the quorum, let me go ahead and take roll call. Mr. J. Peña.
Present.
Mr. Basilio D. Varela Jr.
Present.
Mr. Noe Castillo. Mr. John A. Pope IV. Mr. Lesar Velasquez Jr.
Present.
Dr. Veronica Barrera. And myself, Eddie Ramirez, present. Let the minutes reflect that we do have a quorum. Will everybody please stand? Before I proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to take a moment of silence. We did suffer another family, RGCGISD family loss, a cornerstone, a pillar of this community, someone who served our district for 37 years at Roque Guerra. I believe it was called West Grammar when she was there. So in honor of Minerva Mini Guillen, please join me in taking a moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. Velasquez, will you help us with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you, Mr. Velasquez. Section 3, approval of minutes for the regular board meeting held January 18th, 2023. Do I have a motion or any discussion on Section 3?
Mr. President, I move that we approve item 3 as presented in our board packet.
There's a motion by Mr. Varela. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mr. Castillo. All those in favor so signify by raising your right hand. Same sign. Motion carries. Section 4, public forum. Did anybody sign up for public forum? None. Thank you. Section 5, recognitions. It is National School Counseling Week recognition. I have Ms. Lily Olivares presenting. As well as Rick Smith. I don't mean to leave anybody out. They just gave me Ms. Olivares.
No worries. Good evening, Board President, Mr. Ramirez, members of the board, Mr. Adolfo Peña, Superintendent of the Schools. We're here before you to ask for recognition for our school counselors and counseling staff. National School Counselors Week is recognized the very first full week of February, and we recognize them for their commitment, their understanding, their patience, and their dedication, and of course, knowing when to act. Ms. Scoville?
Mr. Ramirez, members of the board, we do present our counselors to our community. This week, the theme is Dream Big. I think that's for our students to dream big, or our counselors. So we are going to be presenting them with a little certificate. We do also want to thank you. We were able to take our counselors yesterday for a treat. We did take them to Topgolf. They did enjoy themselves. It was a lot of fun, so thank you for approving that for us. So thank you very much. So we are going to be presenting.
Who won, ma'am?
I don't know, but I'll tell you, it was my first time, and I did pretty good. But Gruya did, yeah. They took it.
Everybody won, ma'am. Everybody won, right?
They took it, but they had a little edge. She is the coach's.
Okay.
She is the coach's wife, so
Gruya
she had an advantage there.
Gruya has bragging rights.
Yeah. But thank you all very much for that. We'll start with our presentation of certificates. Ms. Lisa Villarreal, Ringgold Elementary. Ms. Myra Cruz, Veterans Middle School. Raul Garcia, Veterans Middle School. Go through the line and you get to shake everyone's hand. Abel Laurel, Gruya High School. Daniel Almaraz, Gruya High School. Sebastian Doherty, Gruya High School. Marisela Garcia, Alberto Encelia Barrera Elementary. Orlando Guerra, DAEP Center. Hector Garcia, Special Services Department. Mara Garcia, Special Services Department. Elma Compian, District LPC. Ileana Navarro, Gruya High School. Eloisa Alvarez, Rio High School. Ashley Mills, Rio High School. David Canseco, Rio High School. Ms. Rosie Chapa, Rio High School. We do have other counselors. We do have a total of 45 counselors. These are the only counselors that are present. Thank you.
Who won the golf tournament? I want to be next to that guy. Or girl.
We will take a picture, but we also have a representative from Congressman Henry Cuellar's office here.
So, quick picture over here. Ready in 3, 1, 2, and perfect. Great job. Hold on. Okay. Ready in 3, 1, 2, and perfect. Now we're done.
No, Mr. Garcia.
Right? Or
Did you use the lens that makes us look younger?
oh, let me go grab the other camera.
Okay, one more, Mr. Garcia. Oh, we got two more counselors. Come on. We got two more. Certificates?
Yeah, Miss Roxanne. Ready in 3, 1, 2, and perfect.
Adrian, tell me before they leave, say-
Counselors, if you could just remain where you are. Robert has a message from the commission, from actually Henry Cuellar, from our congressman. So please don't leave yet. We got something else coming up.
Wait, hold on a minute.
Hello, board members, Superintendent Peña, and our RGCGISD community. My name's Robert Basan. I'm here to read a letter for the Rio Grande City Gruya Independent Counselors in honor of National School Counseling Week from Congressman Henry Cuellar. And it reads, Dear Rio Grande City Gruya Independent School District Counselors, I'm writing to you today in honor of National School Counseling Week. I wanted to take the time to thank you and show my appreciation for all the hard work that you do in guiding the lives of countless students and helping them reach their full potential. As a school counselor, you are often tasked with providing a variety of services for students and their families, from assisting with college applications and research, providing career guidelines, and preparing for school exams, to helping students cope with learning disabilities. Far too often, you are also taking the lead to help a child deal with a tragedy. As a community, we are proud to have you working in our schools and are confident that your leadership will help our students succeed in their future endeavors. I commend you on your dedication and hard work, and thank you once again for playing a crucial role in the lives of so many students. My door is always open to you. Feel free to reach out to my Rio Grande City District Office or my Washington, D.C. office if my staff and I could ever be of service. Sincerely, Henry Cuellar, U.S. Congressman, 28th District of Texas.
Thank you so much. Mr. Peña, do you want to address the counselors?
This week, we've been recognizing our counselors, and it's not the only week we want to recognize them. They do a tremendous job every single day servicing all of our 9,700 students in our district. After COVID, it's been very challenging for everyone, for a lot of different families and students, and they've been there every step of the way. You know, yesterday I was able to talk to them and tell them that we really value all the contributions that they've done to the district, to our students. You know, all these, there's been a lot that they have to take with, you know, besides during the workday. Many of them stay long hours working with our students, and they take everything home. So today we stop and say thank you for the wonderful job that you do every single day. So continue your passion and your dedication to our students, our staff. You all are sensational. Thank you.
Mr. Varela, you want to add anything?
The only thing I would just like to say is to you all counselors, I think that sitting over here sometimes, it's real difficult for us to really get a perspective of all the things you do for children, whether it's emotionally disturbed, whether it's making sure that kids that are graduating have all the credits, whether it's kids that are in the elementary, middle school, and things of that nature, to hear all the problems, because today, you know, when I was young, I'll be honest with you, the society was a little simpler. Nowadays, you've got the internet, you've got Facebook, you've got so many things. And I know you counselors do a fantastic and awesome job with our kids, because I'll be honest with you, as we look through the landscape, all I see is that there's a problem, that counselor's there. There's the other problem, this other counselor. There's something that happens, and you know, the great thing, all you counselors come together and you go to one campus and you counsel all the kids and things of that nature. So on my behalf, I'm proud of each and every one of you for the tremendous job you do, because sometimes, I know for you counselors, you go home and you take your work with you, because all these problems don't stop at 5 o'clock. You're always thinking about the next day and how we're going to solve them. On my behalf, thank you for everything you do. You're the best, not in the state of Texas, in the whole goddamn world. Thank you.
Mr. J. Peña?
I guess I would just add that thank you guys for bearing the weight, I guess, of the world in the sense that this is like the Google generation of students. They learn things a lot faster and in a much more different way, and a lot more than I think a lot of us intended throughout COVID. We got a very different generation of students in all grade levels, and I think that the problems that end up on your desk are very unique, and I applaud you guys for really bending towards that and you know, taking care of business and really adapting to the situation. So again, just reiterate, thank you all so very much for what you do. You're much appreciated.
Mr. Noe Castillo?
Thank you all for everything that you guys do for the kids. I think Mr. Peña and Bacho said almost everything we could say about everything, but you know, from the bottom of our heart, thank you for taking care of our kids on a daily basis, and You know, like Mr. Garcia said, it doesn't end at 5 o'clock. So, you know, you guys bury a lot of weight, and God bless you all for what you do every day. Thank you.
Mr. John Pope.
I just wanted to say that you all have no idea how important you all are to the students' lives. I remember my counselor, shout out to Ms. Vasquez. She made me who I was. She was one of the main important people that whenever I was worried about something or I was getting picked on because I was little, that she was there to lend her ear and help me out in everything that I did. So, you know, you all have no idea how important you all are to these students' lives. So thank you for everything you do.
Mr. Elizar Velasquez.
Thank you, golfers, counselors. No, thank you for everything that you do. I do ask my child every time he goes to a counselor, I do ask him gordo, how did it go? Oh, he always comes back very, very satisfied. And, but I do have a complaint, Mr. Peña. How come the board members weren't invited to talk about it?
We have ours on March 27th.
Thank you, counselors.
Dr. Veronica Barrera.
Just want to say thank you to all the counselors, especially my girls. This week also, one of my daughters, my oldest, was out there with her counselor, and she was very happy, very excited, you know, graduating from STC before graduating from high school was very exciting for her, and it's because of you, your guidance, and your advice. So thank you so much to all the counselors.
It's always hard to go last because a lot of things I wanted to say, somebody got it and said it. But I think sometimes, you know, you hear the word counselor, some people just assume guidance counselor. You know, they help us with our classes, what we need to get to graduate and get the hours we need, or go beg them when we're missing so many hours that we need to graduate at the last minute, right? But you all wear so many hats. You're expected to be, you know, helpers and social workers and medical personnel sometimes, psychologists, you name it. You know, so you all wear so many different hats, and everybody up here said it already. You know how critical, pivotal, important it is. But if it's not for counselors, a lot of the mental, stressful, you know, the hard kind of work with these students wouldn't get done. A lot of times, teachers and principals and everyone throw them your way because they don't want to deal with them. Probably sometimes, you know. And so honestly, you don't get enough appreciation, enough love for what you do, and it's very obvious that you're dedicated to your passion, to your craft, because it ain't easy at all. And I think I'm comfortable to say that I think everybody up here believes that. So thank you for what you do. It's important, it's critical, it's necessary, and it's everything you all are getting today and hopefully continues is very deserving. So thank you all so very, very much. And on that note, I've just been given one more information on another loss. So if y'all could indulge me on another moment of silence. We do have a custodian who worked at Roque Guerra for 25 years with the school district. Elena Garza is the name I've been given. So Elena Garza, custodian, 25 years with the district. She also passed away. So please, another moment of silence for Elena Garza. Thank you so much. Section 6, reports and information. Item 1, update on students, staff highlights. I have Mr. Adrian Osuna presenting.
Mr. President, Superintendent, our outstanding school board members, as is customary every month, we bring to you all some of the highlights that we have during that past month of all the wonderful things that are happening at RGCGISD. And I think that's the hardest part of what we do, given the fact that there are so many wonderful and sensational things to do. To just choose one to put in these videos, that's the hardest part. But hopefully you enjoy. These are the highlights for January.
January was sensational month for our students and staff. The RGV TABE Executive Board provided a scholarship of $500 to the Conjunto to continue enriching their musical talents and their contribution to promoting bilingualism and biculturalism. The Department of Early Childhood welcomed Johnny Vara from Houghton Mifflin Hardcore. HMH values the partnership with Rio Grande City Gruya ISD and wants to be part of creating a rewarding atmosphere for teachers. Great job, RGCGISD. Roque Guerra Junior Elementary Pre-K4 teachers were recognized for having the highest Ready Rosie usage in the district. Congratulations to Pre-K4 teachers Yasmin Alvarez, Iracema Martinez, and Brenda Ort for helping to make Ready Rosie successful at their campus. Two members of the Rio Grande City High School Rattler Band, Jose Torres and Daniela Garcia, advanced and performed with the Texas All-State 5A, 6A ensembles. Congratulations and thank you for proudly representing RGCGISD. RGCGISD District Life Skills teachers attended the N2Y Starting Strong training. During the Professional Learning Day on Monday, January 9th, a special thank you to our teachers for being so enthusiastic about having access to the bundle licenses that provided access to more student programs for the remainder of this school year. Our sensational Rio Grande City High School Mariachi Cascabel was featured on NBC Access Hollywood. Hosts Mario Lopez and Kit Hoover were amazed at the amount of talent within this top national ranked high school mariachi group. Congratulations. January was School Board Appreciation Month. We would like to thank our sensational school board members for all that they do to make our district shine. We would like to express our gratitude to all of the outstanding students and their families who invested time to partake in the ceremony. We would like to recognize and thank Ms. Isla Elizondo, Ms. Elisa Delgado, Ms. Melissa Morin, and Ms. Madeline Barnes for representing RGCGISD so proudly during their presentation at the 28th Annual RGV Conference. We would like to congratulate Ms. Norma McKee, Family and Community Engagement Director, for being named RGV TABE Community Advocate of the Year. February is already shaping up to be a sensational month.
Item number 2, presentation on RGC GISD Performing Arts Center. Mr. Marin Lopez presenting.
Mr. Board President, members of the board, Mr. Peña, Superintendent, members of the community, I am stepping in for Ms. Laura Warren. She's our architect, and she was the one that was going to do the presentation, but she advised us today she is under the weather. So I'm going to go over some things in regards to the Performing Arts Center, and then I'll open it up if there's any questions or if any of you want a little bit more specifics. Before I get started with the Performing Arts Center, we have so many other projects that involve bond and not bond projects. I'm going to focus on the Performing Arts Center, but I guess this is a time to let you know, I'm talking to Mr. Peña, we are planning a workshop. You know, maybe we're thinking about a 2-hour workshop here in the near future where we can open it up and go into detail on every single project, you know, and let everybody know, our board members, our community, let everybody know where we are at with every single project and open it up to any questions at that time. So just so you know, in regards to every other project, we are planning a workshop here in the near future. So again, our architect for this project is Ms. Laura Warren from the Warren Group for our Performing Arts Center. At this point in time, they are at 90%. They're issuing 90% construction documents for review by the end of November. So she is right getting to 90%. She should be at the 90% by the end of February. She is expected to complete 100% by mid-March, and at that time, we go out for bids. So again, in regards to this project, we're looking about mid-March to go out for bids. As we speak here, she is coordinating with her consultants. She has an acoustical consultant, a structural engineer, a theater consultant, along with a civil, MEP, just, again, these type of projects of this magnitude, you need these type of consultants to, to get us to where we are at currently and where we need to get to. She also, we met with her on Friday. I think we had a meeting with her. We've been having meetings with all our architects and engineers on a weekly basis. So we just met with her team on Friday. So she presented to where, close to the 90%, let us know when she was going to get to the 100%. And then she also provided us a site plan of a possibility of adding another 3 acres, which would help us with an additional 239 parking spaces. Everybody knows already the location is behind the Whataburger, Chick-fil-A, all that area there in the back. That's where it will be located. And so it's in the early process of that, but she already showed us a site plan for those additional parking spaces. So the total square footage of the center is 34,836 square feet. The total budget is $12.4 million. We are looking at $7.4 million from the bond and $5 million from ESSER. So that's basically, and I'm sorry, I know she mentioned that she was going to bring the latest in terms of pictures and stuff, so maybe for the workshop we can have that, where we can show you all. Any questions in regards of where we're at this point with our Performing Arts Center?
I have a question. You're saying that $5 million is coming from ESSER funds. What does ESSER stand for?
Miss Gina, I think I know the answer, but I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'll let her answer that.
The emergency secondary schools grant. It's a relief grant.
Okay.
Mhm.
And why are we using the emergency funds for that?
Emergency funds can
Is
be
that
used.
something common?
Our district decided, we had a committee meeting, and we invited many members from our community. We invited teachers, we invited administrators, clerical staff, a representation from everyone. And our superintendent of schools suggested that we look into seeing if we could help with the construction of not only the Fine Arts Auditorium, but also the multipurpose center addition, the testing center. We also did help with the auditoriums for both the 2 high schools. So we took it to the committee voted and agreed that that would be a direction that we would take. Then we could not just base it on committee. We had to ask permission. So I submitted a permission with specs on how we were going to use the money for construction, and they approved. They meaning TEA approved. We couldn't do it without their approval.
Okay. And so we're using ESSER funds also for those other buildings?
We're using 2.5 for the testing center. We're using 2.5 for the wrestling auditoriums, and then $5 million for the Fine Arts Auditorium.
And that was approved by TEA?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Gina, I have a question real quickly. It's a simple one. We cannot divert these funds unless we get proper authorization from TEA, correct?
That is
In other
correct.
words, we can't just say we're going to use these funds. They have to basically, we have to show merit on what we're doing, correct? And
That
we
is
In
correct.
other words, there's been times where people basically make applications and they get rejected, correct?
All the time.
Yeah.
The only reason that they were approved, according to TEA, was because they are learning sites for children. All of the 4 entities that we submitted permission for are learning sites. So the Fine Arts Auditorium is going to have classrooms. The fact that all of our mariachi, our drama, choir, everyone's going to use it. The natatoriums obviously are for our swimming kids or children, and then, of course, the wrestlings for class. It also has classrooms, and, of course, the testing center, which was very big. We needed to expand our testing space when COVID hit. And this was all due to COVID too, because of the space. We were trying, at one point in time when COVID was at its highest level, they were giving us opportunity to use our money to spread children out. They didn't want them in close quarters. So because our classrooms would only allow us to have a certain amount of children in a classroom, we needed to expand. So we're using all of those entities as extended classroom use. So that's the only reason TA approved it.
And the total amount is 10?
10 million in total, yes, sir.
10
Million.
even? 10
It's
even?
2.5 for the testing center, 2.5 for the auditoriums and wrestling centers, and then 5 million for the fine arts auditorium.
And just something to add for point of discussion, no, but this is for, actually, for Mr. Lopez, if you could. I think if you could convey it over to Ms. Warren, I think part of the discussion that we had some time back, and one of the reasons that we went into the bond market was because at the time, we were getting these bond monies at a pretty decent rate. That was a win. I know that we got it at a wonderful rate at the right time, but at the time, we also had a very unique challenge, and that was we had surging materials prices, right? So we had the cost of steel. Although we don't use a lot of wood, we had the cost of wood surging, we had the cost of cement surging, we had all these things going on. Now, we fast forward a little bit, and I think we got a quote from her, which is similar to the same quote that she's given. And we got this quote maybe 6 months ago. I think it was the same number. Now, back then, if you look at the steel prices, I think we had a discussion. We said, look, we were talking about the Fed rates, right? They said, well, let's get the bond monies because the Fed rates are low. We did it. They're going to go up. They went up to control inflation. So what happens is you have a lot of situations where commercial lending now is going to slow down, right? And it used to be that China would suck up a lot of the steel, a lot of the production. Something awkward is happening over there. But I know domestically we're slowing down, and you see steel falling. You see wood falling. And those numbers are very objective. They're on there. I can kick them over to her if she'd like. But they fell dramatically. Like, I mean, they're cooling down. So then the question would be, is her quote still going to be the same? With these prices, I expect they're going to fall a little bit more over the next few months, but maybe you could bring that to her attention, because we'd like to know if there will be basically who's going to benefit from the savings on these falling prices, because I'm under the assumption that she was pricing it under the old markets, and it's not the same as it was 6 months ago. And the longer we wait, it's probably the better.
And a great point, Mr. Peña, and you are right. She has brought that to our attention. It seems like every month that we meet, in accumulation of every week, every month, there are things that drop, but there's other things that go up. So it's just, again, I think, I've mentioned it before, and everybody knows. We have pre-COVID, and we have, life as it is now, with COVID. So when we did all of this planning, when we did the numbers, when we were going out for the bond, we felt so confident in the numbers that we had. Of course, this was pre-COVID. Nobody had an idea of what was coming, what we were going to go through, and how it is now. The thing is, Mr. Peña, we will get the answer once mid-March comes and we go through the competitive sealed proposals. That's when we will find out. At that point, when we go out for bids, and we feel very good because we have had general contractors, we have had companies that have been coming to meet with us. As a matter of fact, and I said I wasn't going to get too much into the other projects, but we have one of our projects is out right now. Here by late February, we will be opening our bids for Gruya Middle School. So again, we will find out here in the near future, where exactly we are at.
Let me give you just a quick reference. The last time that she quoted, because I wrote it down, metals, we had commodities, it was cold rolled steel, right? Sheet, strip, and then you have rebar and all these other products. It was being priced at the time at $621, and let me see what the unit is. It was about $621. I don't know what the unit was, but the actual price now today is $349. That's what I'm getting at. So there should be something there, and I think that she should account for that. And if we wait a little bit longer, I think it's going to fall even a little bit more. And just for the record, I'm making reference to cold rolled steel, that sheet and strip, and then of course there's another one for rebar, and it's got the same pattern. That's why I'm saying it shouldn't be the same price to build. So, but just for your department, because I know you deal
Yes.
with them directly.
Yeah,
But
and good to know.
Yeah.
That's a big drop there.
it's a big drop.
Yeah. Any other questions in regards to the Performing Arts Center?
I have more of a statement. If the situation hadn't lent itself to where we could do what the school board approved and the bond election and ESSER monies, which we're not the only district that uses ESSER money for these type of things, when would we ever have gotten to do something like this for the district? Would we ever get there? Things that the other districts have that we don't have, that they deserve. Kids, our students deserve it. So the fact that we're trying, the fact that we're striving, that we took the initiative, we took the desire, and we put it, and we're working, They deserve this. So I think sometimes that gets lost in translation.
Mr. Lopez, it was just because I'm new to the board, and so these are things that I know what ESSER funds are for. And so I just wanted to clarify and make sure, it's the first time I'm here, so I want to make sure that, that everything's being done.
No problem. I mean, that's why we come up here, and that's why we're wanting to have a workshop. I mean, we want to keep you all in the loop and let you know everything that's going on as we're going along. And again, Mr. Ramirez, to your point, that was the good thing about how the bond was handled. I was the chair of the committee also for the bond committee. I want to say, we had over 30 committee members from the community, from the district, so I think that the needs are there. I think right now where the questions are coming in is about the budget. And again, I keep going back to it that at the time we felt very confident in how we got to the numbers. It's just, again, I want to stress it was pre-COVID, and now it's just a different,
I guess what I'm trying to, the facilities committee has said, we desperately or would love to have these things that we don't have. And hey, okay, they told us what exactly they felt that the school would benefit from having. Little things that every other school just naturally has or has and have the benefit of using. We don't have to go use other districts' facilities now once we get this. So if it costs us a little bit more and we got to compromise and negotiate and work and budget, hey, we'll get it done. I'm sure we'll get it done somehow, some way because of your work and because of the work of contractors and the superintendent and everybody else. But it gets lost that facilities gave us these ideas. Facilities committees, other individuals, people associated with the district, people outside the community gave us these exact things they felt the school district needed. And that's all we're trying to do.
Let me ask one last question. I think what we also need to understand that these bond monies are being, a portion, I think it's something like 35, maybe 40%, are being paid by the state. So when we ever got the money, we got the money. We're paying for 60% and the state's paying for anywhere between 35 and 40%. So we're getting 60, 65 cents on the dollar, correct?
Yes.
So in other words, whatever bonds money we got, the state is paying anywhere between 35 and 40%. The other thing I would say is interest rates, as we know today, have kicked up quite a bit. So the interest rate we got the bonds back then is a lot cheaper because it's cheaper today. Had anybody who's going to go to bonds today, it's going to be extremely much more expensive. So it was a win-win in the sense that the state's paying 35, 40% of it, and the interest rates we got were quite low in comparison to what they are right now.
Exactly. Good point.
They just increased the.
Mr. Ramirez, if I may, sir.
Yeah, Mr.
Just to speak a little more about the committee.
Please.
When we met several times, as Mr. Lopez mentioned, But, that committee really took off. They just didn't meet a few hours and put up a punch list. No, they went to all the facilities in our district. We broke up into teams, and they went, took notes, identified, from athletics to fine arts to classrooms to all the campuses in the district, and they identified areas, and we got together and we discussed them. We all know we have state and national champs here in our district recognized. Next week, Henry Cuellar is coming to recognize our mariachis for the sensational job that they do. Hollywood Access, interviewed them a few weeks ago. We have Netflix reaching out to them. We have state marching bands, and our kids don't have the facilities to go compete at that level, unfortunately. So luckily, the board decided to go out on a bond, and luckily, our community voted for it. So, these are facilities that our kids really need. Our bands have to go record in Harlingen. Why? We've got state marching bands here. We can have the facility here. If we're about kids, we're ready to, do everything that we can to make sure that these facilities, are built. Yes, we have challenges, but there's nothing that we cannot do together as a community. We'll go out, we'll work together, we'll make sure that our students get the best facilities and that they have a second chance, to be there performing. Swimming, we don't have. That's another example.
I have a question, and everything is good. The bond was for that. My question, I guess, or my concern is, how did 7 million from the bond that was for that get to 12.4 million that we're having to use emergency funds that could have been used for students? I imagine there's a lot of things that our kids need or our staff. How did that 7 million get to 12 that we're having to use emergency funds to make up the difference?
And again, Dr. Barrera, when we went before COVID,
It was
pre-COVID, we felt at that time that the building, the center that we're looking at, unfortunately, the building that we use, and I mean, you're aware of this building, you were a former student here, everybody uses the auditorium. The auditorium, again, off the top of my head, I'm thinking it seats maybe 800. So when we went out for the bond, the committee made it clear that they wanted a performing arts that seated more than, 800, 800 people, 800 staff, students. So we came up with the 900 at that time. But again, the planning was pre-COVID. When we came back and we started talking to the architect and starting putting our vision together with her building the facility, this is a number that we are at. And that's where the ESSER funds came into play. And again, everything, everything for the students. The ESSER funds are for students, so for TEA to approve it, it had to be student-oriented.
Yeah. To help our colleague out, if I could, just to add something, it was a matter of public discussion. But just to kind of pitch in, at the time, I recall that part of the discussion was that we were modeling after a performing arts center that was in Harlingen. And that was the actual model. But what we didn't anticipate was the inflation in the cost of the materials, which brings me back to that point, right? It's per 100 units, by the way, and I sent you the links, which is what I'm trying to say. If we waited out long enough, we might actually get closer to that original target. But that was part of discussion, but I do recall that was one of the reasons.
And Dr. Barrera, when again, there's so many other performing arts centers that we didn't even go and see because they were just crazy at another level, too big. But the one in Harlingen, we just felt from the beginning, that fits our, close to 10,000 students, the staff that we had. And again, in going, we must have made, 3, 4, 5 trips up there. I know they mentioned 3 things that they kept on saying over and over and over and over and over. Don't downsize, the acoustics, and the lighting. Don't settle for anything but the best when it comes to those 3. Now, again, to get to that, to that size, this is the budget that we're looking at.
So, Gina, can I ask just a couple of more questions? ESSER was for us to catch up in learning because of COVID, the majority, wasn't it? Wasn't Escher,
We,
funds
we
to be-
focused on 4 areas. A learning loss, technology, PPE, and the regular operations of our district in
And,
order to continue. So
and
those
in-
were the 4 categories.
And in me saying that, I would just like to congratulate the district because as far as learning loss, but the district got an A, and we did, they did a fantastic job. The teachers, the counselors, everybody did a fantastic job to put us in the map. So, one of the things that we didn't sacrifice kids for other things, correct? And if you look at the results, we had tremendous results as far as education is concerned.
And sir, we also put our money where our mouth is. Not only our children received that support, but our teachers did receive compensation for training at a high rate that no other was paying. That summer that we came back from COVID, we needed to entice our teachers to come back. And, we were facing a great dilemma. And we offered them, I remember, $50 an hour, and they came back. And our kids benefited from that.
I think our district, as far as catching up and learning, did a fantastic job.
Amen.
And thank you.
So, Dr. Barrera, I guess that's as simply as I can put it. That's kind of, why, we are where we're at. I know it's kind of similar, not in all facets, but there's a school district in the valley that is trying to go out on a bond. They're over $120 million. To be able to get what they want done. So for us, and I don't have the answer, but for us that we went out for 70-some million, if we would have done it at this time, I don't know, would it have been mid-80s? Would it have been 90? I don't know, but it would not have been what we went out there. Again, there's good and there's bad. We got it done. We're going to have a lot of beautiful buildings coming up, but it was done pre-COVID, and unfortunately, we're dealing with, COVID, post-COVID, still going on. So,
Yeah, I just feel that, as a district, we need to stay in budget on certain things, but that's my opinion. That's fine.
Mr. Lopez, I did talk to some of our counterparts, board members from Houston. I know that they were going to build a 2,000-seater also in the same boat as we were. The shortfall was 34% of the cost. So, it did change the price of the material and everything else. They were going to have to go back for bonds because they didn't have enough money to complete it. They're not going to build it till they do. So I think that the district has put together what it needs to make this happen. And, I've always said is we work together, we can get stuff done. And, you all have done a great job, and congratulations for that. And they're going to have a great facility. And, I think that that's something that's needed for the future. You try to build this in 5 years, you're going to be up another 34% or more, so that's where it's at, and you see the numbers also. So,
yeah, and that's, and again, great point, sir, and Dr. Barrera, back to you. You mentioned budget. We have a budget, and we're going to stick to that budget. Does that mean, and at this point, I don't have an answer for you, but does that mean that we might have to sit on the project for a few months? Does that mean that everything fell in place and a bid came in at the number? I don't have that answer. We will find out here in the next few months, but we do have a budget, and we are going to stick to that budget. Whether that means that we build here soon or we wait, we are going to stick to that budget that we have.
At the end of the day, when all the bids come out, that's when we'll find out where we're at.
Exactly.
And that's correct. We won't know till the bid is actually
Exactly.
out. And if we don't have the money for it, we don't have to take the bid. We can reject it. So it could be rebid. That's what the process is. And
the way the process is what we're hoping for.
It's not the final word at the end.
No, it's not.
We still have a decision on it. So that's where.
And I think that's important because, for example, we love our kids or my family. I love my girls,
Yes.
but if my girls ask me for a 20 by 20 bedroom and I can only afford a 15 by 11, then I'm not going to give them, even though I love them with all my heart. I think that I can find ways to give them what they need and not so much what they want, but something that's going to meet their needs. And so I agree with what you're saying, that we're going to have to be very responsible when making those decisions.
Yeah. And
And at the end, let me just go one step. That's again we're doing for seal proposals. And seal proposals, you can move backwards and forwards. If it were bids, you had to stick to the original project. By doing proposals, it's going to allow us to negotiate back and forth and things of that nature.
Are we seeing
Yes,
more
and-
companies responding?
The bids that we have out right now, we haven't usually, these companies, for whatever reason, if we have a bid open for 2 to 3 weeks, we're starting to notice that they all wait till the last day or two.
Yeah.
Even though they're sealed, we're not going to open them, we can't open them, they tend to wait for the last hour, the last half day to turn in. What I can say is that when we had a pre-bid meeting for that project of Gruya Middle School, we did have about 5 companies show up for the pre-bid meeting. You don't, it's not mandatory, so what we're hoping for is that we have those 5 that put a bid in, and then others that, you know, come and put another bid in, because again, you don't need to be at the pre-bid meeting, but again, it helps.
That's good news, because I think at one point, we were seen as a very litigious district. I think a lot of folks got scared of doing business with us because a lot of people made money off of lawsuits in the past. And I'm hoping that publicly we can help quell that, I guess, that suspicion or that perception, and that maybe just kind of let the companies know, hey, you know, we're really, really concerned about the monies, the welfare, the spending on the bonds, and we want people to come and bid so that we can get a more competitive pricing and save more money on the construction. And this is we want to be that board, is what I'm getting at.
And
So-
Mr. Peña, we did meet with, as a matter of fact, Mr. Balta Salazar led that meeting where general contractors had those type of questions. And Mr. Salazar did a great job, because the meeting had a lot to do with contract and what wording was in the contract, and, you know, and as per the direction of the board, you know, we had that meeting, and it's been a while, but we did have a meeting, and we did have a good turnout of general contractors for that meeting. So one other point, and Dr. Barrera, we started off, and actually we've started off with every project, exactly what you mentioned, you know, that example that you gave about your girls. We've started with a certain size at every project. Why? Because we want the best of everything. But with every project, we have had to downsize. You know, Gruya Middle School, and I'm getting into other projects, but I'm just trying to answer your questions. Gruya Middle School, we started off with a campus for 1,000 students. We have cut down to a number, you know, close to 800. Performing Arts Center, and I know I didn't know much about it, but it included what's called the Fly. You know, we had to cut that out. I mean, so there are things that we wanted that we are having to cut back on, again, because we know what our budget is, and we're trying to stay within that budget.
I'm sorry, one more thing, because I don't see it anywhere else. Now that you're talking about Gruya, is Gruya going to have a cafeteria? Are they going to have a gym?
Yes.
Is that something?
It is a full-blown middle school. It has a cafeteria, it has a gym, yeah, so.
300 students.
Well, the plans are there.
I'm sorry?
The plans are there for a full-blown gym, cafeteria, and things of
Yes,
that.
it is. If you look at Gruya Middle School, it's a smaller version of Veterans Middle School. When it came to Gruya Middle School, we involved the staff and the principal a lot, and they pretty much had options as to what they wanted to do, and it was unanimous. We never really had a decision to make between 2 types of plans. They liked how veterans, now, have we tweaked it? Yes, they asked for certain things. Our principal, some of his staff have visited Veterans Middle School, and they've made some changes, but it's that type of thing. So if you've ever walked into Veterans, Gruya is going to be similar, with a band hall, with a cafeteria, with a gym, with everything that a middle school should have.
Mr. Lopez,
The
I want
only
to
re-
thank you. I know you're not Miss Warren, and you are doing a fabulous job at answering all these questions.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
am
Pro-
excited. I see Rio Grande City. I see it growing. I love this city. I want to stay here. All these projects that are coming about, I mean, I think it's spectacular, and we see it moving forward, and that's the whole process. I mean, a lot of these things, when I went to high school, we didn't have it. And, to have the opportunity to provide this to our children at the cost of, taxpayers and us, I mean, I think it's the pros outweigh the cons, and I think it's going to be great, and I can't wait till I see some type of groundbreaking, because that excites me every day.
And then,
Very good. Thank you.
one more thing. We're also investing in something that's going to be there for a long time to come. Some of the districts, I won't say names, use ESSER money in ways they probably shouldn't have. Something that was temporary, and now they're having to cut hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of employees and campuses and whatnot. That's not happening here, okay? This is investment for our future. It's going to be for a long time to come, and we had to start at some point, and the situation led itself forward. So again, I mean, come on, let's see the positive in this and everything that's going on. And like Pope says, it's for the betterment of our future and our kids, because everyone here, even those that might not like a certain thing or two, will be enjoying the benefits of what's going to happen in the future. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
All right, thank you.
Item number 3, report on 2022-2023 RGCGISD District Audit Report, DAR. Mr. Peña?
Yes, sir. Every month, we do report on the intruder audits that we have in the district, but we will be discussing in more detail in executive session, sir.
All right, thank you. Section 7, recommending approving the consent agenda. The board has agreed to discuss the following items. All of the items below that are not called out will be approved by consent. Consent agenda item number 1, consider and take possible action on donations to Rio Grande City Gruya ISD. Do I have a motion or any discussion on item 1?
Mr. President, I move that we approve item 1 on the consent agenda.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Varela to approve item 1. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr.
Mr.
Castillo.
President, can you just announce the names of the people who donated? I think it's important.
Yes. Mr. Robles, would you do that for us, please?
Not necessarily the amounts, just the people.
Yes, that's true.
Good evening. The following donations were made by Pediatric Practice Association, Mary Wheat, Hidalgo All Stars, Belinda Reyes, Fry's Restaurant Management, Burger King, Gruya Gators Parents Baseball Club, Inventory Trading Company, National FFA Foundation, East Coast Migrant Head Start Project, Rosario Martinez Catering, Encarnacion Science III, and Mr. Adolfo Peña Jr.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you have any further discussion on item 1? There being none, all those in favor shall signify by raising your right hand. Same sign, motion carries. Action item 2, consider and take possible action on request for use of school facilities from Jehovah's Witnesses Central Spanish Congregation, Fort Ringgold Auditorium.
Mr. President, I move that we approve item 2, 3, number 4, and the 4 is the revised one that says consider and take possible action on pay application number 1 for Fort Ringgold re-roofing project, barracks number 4 payable to NM Contracting LLC. Item 5, item 6, item 7, item 8, item 9, and item 10. With any discussion, if anybody wants to discuss anything.
There's a motion by Mr. Varela to approve items 2 through 10 with the addendum revised one for item 4. Is there a second to that motion?
I have questions on some of those items.
Sure. So got Dr. Barrera, hold on. So I'm asking for a second, and then we'll go ahead and address questions.
I will second.
Second by Mr. Peña. Okay, Dr. Barrera, you may proceed with discussion or your questions.
Oh, yes, can somebody explain on those I'm sorry for my lack of knowledge. Re-roof project barrack number 4 for all that money. Can somebody tell me what that is about, please?
That is building number 4. That is the roof replacement for that building, and that is where the whole business office departments will be housed at.
Can I
I'm
call
sorry,
for an
come
agenda
again?
item number? I'm sorry, what number?
That was item 4, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't. What is that
That's building
for?
4, the business office. The whole business office department will be relocated to that building, and that is to the west of this building. That is going to be next to the federal programs building. The roof has to be replaced.
Okay, so that's just the roofing.
Yes.
All right. Yes, Ms. Yana, for these, for example, this project, did we get bids?
Yes, it went out for bids.
Do
back
you guys
in
put
June.
that in here? The bids, because some have bids and some don't.
No, because it has already been approved.
Okay, so just
So
if-
this is just a request for approval to pay the contractor
Okay,
on
because
that
that
pay
already
application.
happened.
Yes.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, normally we bring them out, we get bids, we get the quotes, we approve the bids, then they do the work, then they get paid, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That was for.
I think the motion was made to include the
The
addendum.
Yes, it was. All right. Any further discussion on any particular item? Okay.
Number 6 is what we just talked about, the performing arts.
Yes.
So no, we're
And
good.
that's 7 to 6 and 7.
I'm good.
Ready? Okay. All right, there was a motion by Mr. Varela, there was a second by Mr. Peña. All those in favor so signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? All right, same sign, motion carries. Mr. Castillo,
Abstaining from 6, 7, 8.
you're abstaining from the whole? Mr.
Yeah.
Dr. Varela will be abstaining as well as, well, you're abstaining from
6, 7, 8.
the entire vote, from item 2 to 10, correct, Dr. Barrera? Or just a few of the items?
No, I'm sorry, just from 4, 5, and 6.
You're abstaining from 4, 5, and 6. And Mr. Castillo will be abstaining from items 6, 7, and 8. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Motion passes. Item 11, consider and take possible action on requisitions of $5,000 and over. Do I have a motion and discussion on item 11?
Mr. President, I move that we approve item 11 as presented in our board packet.
Motion by Mr. Varela, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Castillo. Any discussion required? There being none, all those in favor so signify by raising your right hand. You have a question?
That was items what?
Item 11.
Item what?
11.
No questions. Thank you.
All right, there was no problem. There's a question by motion by Mr. Varela, second by Mr. Castillo. All those in favor so signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? Same sign, motion carries. Item 12, consider and take possible action on awarding of the following bids. I'm going to go ahead and take them one at a time because I know
Yes,
there's some
please.
issues. Yeah, well, there is some issues with some of them, so we'll discuss them individually. So I have item 12, is consider and take possible action on awarding of the following bids. The first one is CSP number 23-16, automatic gate opener for all district elementary campuses and Gruya Middle School.
Mr. President, I move that we approve item CSP 23-16. Just want to make sure that we did take either quotes or bids on these things, correct?
Yes.
And we're-
Yes, good evening, Board President, Board Members, and Superintendent, and everybody present. That is correct, Mr. Adel. We did take for bids, or as you can see, it's a CSP.
And we are approving the lowest bidder, correct?
For this one, we had one. We did have 2 or 3 that were interested, but at the end of the day, only one submitted.
What's your recommendation to approve?
Our recommendation is to approve. Yes, sir.
Do you know what these, can you explain what the gate openers are for, or do you have anybody else, Mr. Peña, that can tell us what the gate opener?
Well, they're pretty much the gates at, let's say, I'll go ahead and go an example of Hinojosa Elementary. Currently, we have the gates that open, and our people, our staff, our security, or whoever's in charge goes and manually has to open them and close them. So for purposes of safety, we're trying to go with automatic gates, so that way we don't have access to just anybody coming in and out, because at times, especially, let's say, whenever we have our kids being dropped off, well, the gates are completely open. So in this case, they would close during the day whenever the kids are there in the school.
So Chris, this is to provide more safety for our children of our district, correct?
Yes, not only the students, but also our staff.
Our staff,
and-
yes.
Yes.
Chris, have we worked with any of these 3 companies, or 2? How many are they, 3?
For this one, for this current one, it's 1. And yes, we have. They have done some job for us already.
No, for the 3 bids. Item 12.
Item 12, but the first.
We're only taking.
What are you talking about, the first one?
2316.
2316.
Only taking 2316 right now.
So the motion is just to approve
Just
that?
for 2316.
Okay. So we've worked with that company before.
Yes, we have. Yes, sir. They have done some work for us here at Alto Bonito Elementary.
Now-
The warranty, from what I was told, is it comes with 2 years, and then, of course, the material itself has a lifetime warranty. So this is, the warranty is for the people that are installing them. Of course, if there was to be something else that comes up, that a little mechanical issue or something like that, they would come by, swing by, and take care of the issue.
And have they ever submitted a change of order, this company?
No, well, this is the first time that we go out with a bid with them. And the times when we've gone out,
In the
it's just been a
past.
quote.
No, but in the past, from this company.
From this company, no, it's just been a quote, yes.
But we're talking of just gates to make it secure campuses, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes, sir, Mr. Peña, go ahead.
TEA now has new standards that all school districts have to have in place, and we have 2 years. So we're going to be having a session with you, to make sure that we include everything. But the next 2 items are also dealing with safety. These guidelines, one example is all perimeter, the whole campus has to be enclosed 100%. There are some campuses that are not 100%, so we're going to bring that forth for you. We have 2 years to comply with these state codes. The gates is one. They all have to be 8 feet now. These gates are not, and they're very old. At the same time, we have personnel that have to give up where they're at to come open and close the gates during the times, because TA is requiring us to be closed at all times and have all exterior doors closed. So there's a lot of work that has to be done that we will be bringing forth, but it's to come up to standard that we have to comply with TEA.
Any further questions, discussion?
For the fence project,
Let me go ahead and call the vote for that one, and then I'll get to that one. So, any further discussion on 23-16? All right, there was a motion by Mr. Varela. Let me get a second for that particular.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Peña. All those in favor, so signify by raising your right hand. Same sign, motion carries. Let's do item 12 CSP number 2318. That's a safety fence project for the elementary campuses. Mr. Guerra, you have an
On
announcement
that one,
right?
yes, we're actually requesting from you all to reject this current CSP at the moment due to some updates that have come from TA for safety purposes. So we have to go back and update some of the scope of work that needs to be done. So at this time, we're asking if we could reject
So
this
you're asking
particular CSP.
no action? Okay,
This
no
is
action.
2318.
Don't we have to reject the bid?
that's for JG's cabinets.
If it was already
For
bid,
JG's construction.
if it was already bid out, yes. You
So
have to
don't we have to
reject
reject
it.
them?
All you gotta do is no action, because it wouldn't be approved.
We still got to make
So
the
we don't have
motion
to
for no
reject
action.
No, okay. No action then.
Yeah, it's just no action.
Okay, that's
We
fine.
got to make the motion for no action, or we just
No,
move
just
on?
no
period?
action.
Okay. All right, so then,
So does that mean it stays? It goes through?
no.
No.
it does not.
It gets, oh.
It has to be approved for it to go through.
Right.
And we're not
We're not
approving.
taking action on that one. All right. Item 12 now is CSP number 23-21. That's RGCGISD welding additions to Rio Grande City High School.
Mr. President, I move that we approve CSP-23-21 and giving the authorization to the superintendent to negotiate a better price.
Okay. There's a motion by Mr. Varela. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mr. Pope. Any discussion required on CSP number 23-21?
I have a question on that one. There was 2 bids, one for $1 million and the other one was $377,000, and we got the one for $1 million. Is there a reason why we went to the higher bid?
Okay, Dr. Barrera, we had four bids that came in. So we went with the lowest bid, which was the one for $377,000. But in meeting with that general contractor, we found out that they missed about 5 or 6 items that they did not place in their bid. So when somebody misses that many items, it leaves us no choice but to reject their bid. So at the time that we reject their bid, we move on to the next lowest one.
Can we negotiate these, like with the next?
And we can, when somebody wins the bid, the lowest bid, we can negotiate with that, with the winner. But at the moment that they're that off, the 5 or 6 things that they were missing were probably over $600,000. So at that point, we have to eliminate
So
them.
it makes up the difference for the next, pretty
And-
much.
And again, I'm giving you rough estimates. If somebody misses a small part of a bid, we can, you know what, we can work something out with them. But when it's that drastic that they miss so many items, we have to reject their bid.
Like you
So-
have to, like everybody decides that you, or it's a rule that you have to reject
No,
it.
it's what
That's the way
is
it is.
done. Yes,
So-
it's what is done.
So let me ask you, we're giving the authorization to superintendent to negotiate the second bid as a lower. And like you're saying, if you're missing $600,000, you actually have to reject it because they're not including major items in the particular bid, correct?
Yes, and we, Mr. Delfino Garza and myself, on Friday, we did meet with the general contractor that was the second lowest. We met with them on Friday, and we talked to them about the reduction, some cost reduction measures, and we're waiting on them to get back to us to see how much they can go down.
The NM contract.
The NM, yes.
If I can add a little bit.
Yes, Mr. Garza, go ahead.
Good evening, members of the board.
Good evening.
Mr. Superintendent. The low bidders, actually the correct terminology is the lowest responsible bidder. And since this fellow, you know, the $377,000 bid missed out some major things that were on the plans, we had to reject it. And then we went to the next responsible bidder. And that's why there is that big discrepancy on the amount of money.
Thank you. Any further discussion required on CSP number 23-21?
What's the motion?
There was a motion.
I
Go
made
ahead.
the motion.
There was a motion by Mr. Varela, second by Mr. Pope, to give superintendent the ability to negotiate a better price from, is it NM Contracting?
Just to negotiate.
Right.
Correct.
We're not
Yes,
approving.
you have to bring it back to the board. Yes.
Can somebody explain to me what exactly welding addition to the high school is?
Yes, ma'am. The Rio Grande City High School, one of the wings of one of the buildings has a breezeway with a roof and a concrete slab, but it's open. People walk through there. It's not air conditioned. So we converted that into a welding shop. So we had to put walls. We used the roof that was there. We used the concrete slab that is there. And then we put some overhead doors and, you know, everything that goes into the welding shop. So that's what it is. But it was a building that was probably 50% already in place.
So basically, we offer welding courses, dual welding courses, where they get credit at STC and get credit at Rio Grande City. And when they graduate, a lot of them, some of them even become welders when they graduate, and they can go work at pipelines and things of that nature. Because our school provides not only the academic side, but we also provide the career and technology where people can become CNAs, welders, and things of that nature. And I believe that we have courses in welding that are done through STC, and it's a tremendous program. All career and technologies are tremendous because we're really preparing our kids for the workforce, for the kids that don't want to go to college.
And one day they'll be able to come back and bid on these same projects. And we can get past the irony of us having to use a company from outside of Stark County to fix a welding situation in Stark County. That hurts my heart. I'd prefer for the money to stay here, but it is what it is. We're investing in the future.
And
hopefully
correct
we
me
can-
if I'm wrong, Mr. Peña, but career and technology brings, the weight on career and technology is 3 times. So what that means is if we have a child that does regular school, it's 1. But if we do career technology, we get 3 times funding for career and technology. So the state, for some reason, puts more weight on career and technology than they do on regular ed.
That is correct, sir. And Mr. President, if I may, there's 3 very important points as to why we're building this facility.
Please.
Number 1, the request of students at the high schools is overwhelming. We cannot, the demand that's there right now, we cannot have all the students in the welding, so we need to add. Secondly, right now, they have to travel to Ringgold Middle School. So they're losing instructional time and, you know, when they can benefit from it at the high school itself.
Yeah.
So, and number 3 is the funding. It gives us a lot more weighted funding. So we'll be, hopefully be able to service our students, the needs that they have, the demand that they have, we will be able to accommodate. There are other courses that we're bringing to you that we also have to expand in the future.
Mr. Peña, talking about that, that's fine, what you're saying, but who, or have you gotten concerns, because I get concerns all the time, and I'm gonna address them with you. Roof leaking in certain schools, playgrounds without, broken down playgrounds where kids cannot go out and play since October. There's a lot of issues going on with what we already have. How are we addressing those issues before we even do other additions, kind of taking care of the basic, our structures that we have now before even like making these new constructions?
Yes, Dr. Barrera. I've been here 2 years, and in the 2 years, Mr. Lopez has helped me with maintenance to make sure we address all the roofing leaks in our district. And I can say we're about 90% almost at schools completed with that. We still have to work in a campus or two with that. But leaks, since we do have metal roofs, anytime there's bullets, there's other things that come through it. So there's always different projects coming up. But in the last 2 years, we've addressed many of those leaks. Now, in playgrounds, we have one campus who has addressed it with me, and we have a plan in place. Do remember that, when we have a district budget, it's approved back in summer. So, we budget for the needs during that time. So right now in March is a time that we're already budgeting for next year's needs. So that will be something that we'll be addressing.
Great, thank you.
Are the students going to start building trailers again or no?
In the welding center?
We're bringing to the board very soon on expanding our ag department, sir. We need to invest some money there, so yes, we are.
We're sidetracking here. Yes, I'll call the question, Mr. Varela. There's a motion by Mr. Varela, second by Mr. Pope. All those in favor, so signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, so signify by raising your left. Right. The motion passes with 6-1, Dr. Barrera opposing. Item 13, consider and take possible action on SAT school day testing. Do I have a motion or any discussion on item 13?
Mr. President, I move that we approve item 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, and 21, and 22 with any discussion.
There's a motion by Mr. Varela to approve items 13 through 22. Pending discussion, is there a second to that motion?
Seconded.
Second by Mr. Peña. Any discussion on any particular item required? I'll give you some time because I know it's quite a bit of items.
Real quickly, Eliezer, I know your son took those drone classes. He really likes them.
I knew he was going to talk to you about
I
that.
like to always bring it up because he's a prime example of those drone classes.
Now he wants the most expensive.
Huh?
Eso lo malo.
But we get a lot of students who do that, correct?
Yeah.
Mr. Peña.
On item,
Sorry, go ahead.
on item 21, resolution for vape detector grant.
Yes, sir, that is a grant that we as a district are applying for. Those vape detectors are about $1,000 each, so there is a grant. It is a competitive grant that we are asking, we're going to be applying for.
So we're just going to.
We're just going to apply for it, sir. Yes, sir.
And I mean, is Mark Olivares here? Mark? I know that, I've been told, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, not only does it, I guess, detect vaping, but it's also for loud noises and tampering with any device. It's a pretty, sophisticated technology, right?
Good evening, members of the board. Mr. Ramirez, board president, Mr. Peña, superintendent. Mr. Ramirez, you're correct. The current devices that we do have in our schools right now do detect vaping, and they do detect noise. So if anybody's tampering with it, it will let us know. It will send an email to whoever's on the thread, and it will send an alert to the phone.
So there's fights in the restroom?
Yes, sir. And it does tell you extreme noise, proceed with caution as well.
Awesome.
We do have a tremendous problem with vapes right now.
Yeah.
It seems that every time we turn around, somebody's getting caught with a vape, correct?
Chief Garcia is currently addressing that with the vape detectors that we do currently have right now in stock in the district.
Also, sir, just in case, for the public and staff, we have, right away, we started discussing this with our counseling department, and they came up with sessions with PD so that students, at the elementary, middle school, and high school know the consequences and how it is a felony So it is a arrestable offense if it tests positive for THC. So, we are having sessions at all the campuses. We've done so already, but we're going back and doing it again because we continue to see this problem, sir.
Are these simply in restrooms or were?
These detectors are in restrooms.
Right. So I think that's where there's a lot of, problems. You have fights, you have stuff, the privacy. So you don't invade the privacy, but you also have a chance to detect if there's something wrong, something bad going on.
Yes, sir.
I have a question on annual enforcement torch run relay event for Special Olympics.
Maricela, thank you, Mark.
Maybe you could just give us an overview of what that means.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Ramirez, School Board President, board members, Mr. Peña, Superintendent of Schools, ladies and gentlemen. Back in November of 2022, I brought before the board the 3 student activities that we were going to be hosting for our students receiving special education services. One of those activities is the Special Olympics. This year, we're very honored that our department is going to be hosting this special occasion. And so it was approved back in November. However, today I'm bringing before you the permission or seeking consent for you all to allow the law enforcement torch run relay event for Special Olympics Texas Rio Grande Valley to join our special education Olympics on March the 9th so that they can also kick off their event, their annual event. So what they're going to do, they're basically going to be having law enforcement agencies from all of Stark County join us on this special day, and they are going to be having their first run. They're going to have a lap, and then that's going to kick off their annual event, and at the same time, it's going to start our event as well. So we thought, and this request is coming on behalf of Ms. Angelina Villarreal and Mr. Laura Garza. So we thought it would be a great idea to basically combine both events, so like that we can, do both at the same time, and they're going to have their event and we're going to have our event. But of course, making sure that we highlight all of our students who are participating in the Special Olympics who are receiving special education services. So today we come before you to seek your permission for this event.
Let me take this opportunity to commend you to your participation in Special Olympics. It's I think Noe probably knows more than I do, but I just want to commend you. You do a great job, and to participate in anything like that is just a tremendous thing. So I congratulate you and all your staff for, hosting the Special Olympics because it is a lot of hard work.
Thank you so much. We're really looking forward to this great event, and thank you for all the support that you all give us. Thank you so much. Any other questions, anyone?
Good luck, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Is it going to be in Rio Grande, ma'am?
Yes, it's going to be here at the Joe Sanchez Stadium, so we invite all of you to please make sure you join us, and I will make sure to send you
date is that,
invitations.
ma'am?
It's on a Thursday, March 9th.
Okay, ma'am.
So, yes. So
We'll be
please
there.
join us on that
Well, I'll
day.
be there anyway.
Yes, thank you. I hope everybody can make it.
We will be a part of that. We were involved
Yes.
this last time, but COVID got in the way. And,
Correct.
I did go to one of the conventions up north with them. We got invited this last year, and they have a great, this is worldwide, and they have a great, program. I also got to speak in the Valley at their convention a couple of years ago. So, the kids are great, and, what they have done through this program and how they finance it, and, they've done a great job for the kids, and I'm very proud of that it's here, and I'm glad it's going to be teamed up with everybody else, ma'am.
Correct.
Whatever we can do to help us, help
Thank
out,
you
let
so
us know,
much.
okay?
Yes, and the first event we had was back in 2021, then we got interrupted by COVID, and now we're back on it again because we feel that, team effort can achieve a lot more of our goals. So working together, we can accomplish more. So yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, again. Appreciate it.
Where's, is Nidia, Ms. Benitez? Can you talk a little bit about item 17? I think it's important. Please.
Good evening, President of the Board, board members, Mr. Peña, audience, everybody. Item number 17, I'm very excited with this particular project. It is an opportunity for our teachers to be part of our first national board certification cohort. We applied for a grant. We have been preliminarily accepted. And what this entails is our teachers have the opportunity to go through the program. It's a 2-year program for them. And once they complete it, they become nationally board certified, which is a very high distinction, very high honors for our teachers. And at this moment, we are in the recruitment process. We have 11 people, more or less, already registered, but we're still open. We're still recruiting, especially at the elementary level. I'm really working with that. I want to recruit more elementary teachers to join this cohort. And once the teachers become nationally board certified, they also automatically qualify for the teacher incentive allotment level 1, which is the recognized level. And this is in turn providing them with monetary compensation for their recognition. So it's a win-win for them, and it's a win-win for us, because we're gonna have highly recognized teachers teaching our kids, available here for us. So
I agree.
I hear, Ms. Benitez, there's a proposal on the state level to give teachers a $15,000 raise. Hopefully
Her
it
too,
passes.
sir. I'm following it. Like,
Hopefully
I'm
it passes,
excited
ma'am.
about that. And as we've been meeting with our teachers for the teacher incentive allotment, and I've been meeting with them, and I'm telling them, I'm prompting them to post it on social media and to make a big noise about it, because it's a big thing. Our teachers deserve it. They do.
Exactly. You all deserve it.
It's a
Thank
very
you.
big initiative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other discussion required on any particular items?
Just on number 19, if we could.
Yes, yes, sir.
Mr. Sines.
Mr. Eddie Sines, item 19. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, members of the board, Mr. Peña, and members of the audience. I'm glad you brought that up. What we want to do is we want to join the Region 1 Orium Consortium because of several services aside from E-rate that they provide. One of the items that we will be switching over to Region 1 will be our internet access. We are up for renewal, and Region 1 offers internet access through the consortium. They do the application to E-rate, and basically we just pay our 14%. That's all. We don't pay the full amount. But the reason I want to join it is because of the DDoS protection that they offer if you're a member of the consortium. Several districts, up to 31 districts so far, have joined the consortium. They include Mission, PSJA, La Feria, Lyford, Zapata, and others, and I'm hoping Rio Grande joins. And what DDoS protection is, think of, Falcon Dam no tiene agua. Think of a flood coming down our internet and taking up the whole 10 gig pipe that we have. That's a DDoS attack. It's a distributed direct denial of service. And we had that 3 years ago when we were testing in May. We got hit, we had nothing during testing. It hit us hard. I have included a chart on your handouts. And one of the things that I do want to show you guys.
And that was my question. We had a DDoS attack.
Yeah, on February 2nd at 1:09 p.m., which is right after lunch, it's on a Thursday, that flood attack took up 36 gigs of our pipe. We only have 10. So for 4 minutes, it only lasted 4 minutes. For 4 minutes, the district was dead, completely. The other major one, this happened on a Sunday, 1/29/23. We got hit with 7.1 gigs of traffic coming in. We have a 10 gig pipe, so we're still good. It got slow, but it did hit us, and that one only lasted 1 minute. By getting this service, what happens is our internet provider is SmartCom. SmartCom will see the traffic coming in, and if it's anything over a gig, they're going to block it, reroute it, and just stop it from coming in, and we won't even feel a thing. We have 100% online testing now. So we already got hit with a 36 gig flood. We cannot afford to get hit during testing, especially during testing, even during class time. No, we all know, we're Google Classroom throughout the whole district. Our kids are online as soon as they get here until they leave. We need this kind of protection. From now until June 30th, at a cost, it will cost the district $5,000 to get this protection. From July 1st till June 30th of the following year, our cost is $10,800 a year. That's our cost. Last year, and I've been talking to Ms. Gonzalez to try to get a particular product. The product is $110,000 that'll do this kind of a job. that'll protect us, protect the district.
Mr. Sines, I think the concern I might have on this one is more, and I trust your assessment, but it's more of, I think, a matter of technicality. I think we're being asked as to whether or not we can approve the school joining the Region 1 Orion Consortium for internet access.
Right.
But I think the contract is a SmartCom contract. So I think the agenda item would be for us, asking us to approve entering into the SmartCom contract.
For now,
right?
for now. There
So
will be,
then-
because the consortium doesn't start till July 1st through June 30th of this year. So for now, we're going to go through, like you said, Mr. Peña, directly from SmartCom. They're going to honor the consortium price if this is agreed. They're going to give us a consortium price right now till June 30th, and then Orion takes over.
You get where I'm
after
going,
that.
right, legal? I think it's, it's not, it's just the
wording.
wording of the agenda item, I think precludes us
Right.
from accepting the SmartCom.
Well-
So maybe we can agree to join the Region 1 Orion Consortium and then table the SmartCom contract for now, and then maybe put it on another.
Well, we can leave it on there. All we have to do is make the motion to where it is a specific, again, it's a 6-month contract, I believe.
It's a 5-month contract.
5-month contract.
With
And
SmartCom.
then- And then beginning July 1st, you authorize the superintendent to go ahead and enter into the consortium. Because again, you're getting the consortium price. It's a wholesale price.
So this is the precursor to jumping in. Okay, so
Yes,
then-
yes.
And then just to note, it notes in the contract that there's a conflicting term. It says the monthly cost is $900 and it says monthly cost is $4,500. I just want to point that out. So the monthly cost is $4,500 plus the.
Right, but
Okay.
because of the E-rate discount that we get.
Okay, so I will amend, if I could, the motion for agenda item number 19 to state that I move to approve joining the Region 1, I move to approve the SmartCom contract as presented with the request that we grant Superintendent Peña the discretion to enter into the Region 1 Orion Consortium for Internet Access Program after the 5-month SmartCom contract term.
I'll second that.
Okay, we just need to make one little correction. Because of the application status, we need to fill out the E-rate Form 470 through Region 1, so Mr. Peña will need to sign tomorrow so that it'll take effect July 1st. But we need to do the application, which he needs to sign first, to join the consortium. That way, when it's an automatic approval. Starting July 1st, it takes effect, but he needs to sign basically tomorrow. If he needs permission to sign tomorrow.
So the amendment will include his authorization to also execute the form.
Okay,
Okay,
and
so-
I'll second that motion.
Amended motion by Mr. Peña, seconded by Mr.
I've got a
Varela.
question, I've
Yes,
got a question for
yes,
you.
sir.
I read somewhere a couple of months ago where they broke the firewall to a particular school district. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. How are we protected from that happening to us? What firewalls do we have or how did they get into that district maybe? And how do we protect them from not getting into our district maybe?
Well, it seems like you've read our E-rate applications. Currently, we have what we call an ASA firewall, which is one of the first firewalls that came out, and I'm talking about 6 years ago. Last year, you guys approved our E-rate internal connections application, and in that application, we're getting the top-of-the-line firewall. New, coming out this year, it will be installed during spring break. The company that was approved to do the installation was NetSync. It is already here. The new next generation firewall is already here. But because we need to shut down the district for 4 or 5 hours to get it in place, we're going to do it during spring break.
So how did they break into that school district in the valley?
Well, sir, I mean, there's hackers out there that.
How did they bypass a firewall? I mean, are we protected? Maybe a better word.
Well, there's cracks to everything. Not all firewalls, not a single firewall is 100% effective. There's always little back doors.
And then they basically have them they have to pay, they want to get it back or something of that nature?
Yes, and that's what we're trying to avoid with the new firewall we're getting, plus this denial of service. It's a and all this is a part of House Bill 3834, cybersecurity bill, that we need to have in place. So we're getting there,
And I didn't want to make these more complicated, but now that you mentioned House Bill, the decision making form says this will make us I think you meant partially compliant with House Bill
Right,
38.
the
So what-
DDoS is partial, but then our next generation firewall fills out the rest of the holes.
So is there still, okay, there's still something after that we need to do, or?
34 has
We're
educational.
basically at about 95% compliance, which is more than enough.
Great. That's
So,
it
yes.
scared me, I saw partial
Because of
compliance,
the,
I was like,
yes, that's the DDoS.
Okay.
There's 26 components to it.
Okay.
The DDoS protection takes up 5 of the components. Our next generation firewall takes up about 18 of them.
Okay.
So we'll basically almost fill the whole gap.
Gotcha.
We're getting there.
Okay, all right.
President, call for the question.
All right, there's an amended motion by Mr. Peña, was seconded by Mr. Varela. All those in favor, so signify by raising your right hand. Same sign, motion carries. The board will now convene in
Thank you.
closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code 6.
other items?
Yes.
Okay.
551.071 through 551.076 and 551.082 to 551.084. The time is 8:06 PM. All right, we're going to reconvene back in open session. The time is 10:05, section 9. There is no action required on item A. There is no action required on item B. Do I have a motion on item C?
Mr. President, I move that we pass item C as discussed in executive session.
There's a motion by Mr. Varela. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Velasquez. All those in favor so signify by raising your right hand. Same sign. Motion carries. There is no action required on item D. There is no action required on item E. There is no action required on item F. Item G has 2 subparts. I have a motion with regards to student RE.
With regard to student RE, a motion to affirm expulsion and deny appeal.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Peña. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Varela. All those in favor so signify by raising your right hand.
Abstain.
Okay. You abstaining too? All right, Dr. Barrera, you abstaining? All right, with a vote of 4, with 4 in favor, 3 abstentions, motion passes. With regards to item G, subsection student JF, do I have a motion with regards to student JF?
We have a motion for expulsion.
There's a motion by Mr. Peña. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Varela. All those in favor so signify by raising your right hand.
Abstain.
All those opposed? Okay, that's with a motion of 6 in favor with 1 abstention.
Mr. President, I think there's an addendum. I don't know if that has to be included.
There wasn't an
No?
addendum.
Okay.
So the vote was 6 in favor with 1 abstention. Mr. Velasquez abstaining. Motion passes. There is no action required on item H, I'm sorry, and no action required on item H. Meeting is hereby adjourned. It is 10:07 PM. Thank you so very much.